To start with, the art in this is interesting. There are some really nice panels, but most of them are kind of wonky. There's something about the shapes of our main cast's faces that just throws me off for some reason. They are super inconsistent, and I'm not fond of it. Of the two though, Cheongyeon is the most consistent. Plus, he's a top, and I'm a huge sucker for a pretty top. I do love that they're both very masculine men, which is rarer than I'd like to admit in BL, but it's unfortunate that the art style isn't as up to par as I would have liked it. Unfortunately, the story is also not my favorite thing in the world. It feels very disjointed and like it tries to do a ton of work in too short of a package. Muksan in particular is woefully underdeveloped. He's a bad guy. He kills people for hire, kills people just because, and steals everything that isn't bolted down. He's conniving and cruel, but that isn't why I dislike him. I mean, the top from Blind Play is one of my favorites, and he's a serial killer and torturer too. He's got moments where he seems to be a bad guy with a heart of gold, and he has the tragic backstory that helps humanize him, but he still comes off as an asshole. It's meant to be humorous and silly, but I don't find it to be either. This could just be because the, quote, comedy in this isn't for me, but that doesn't change the fact that he's a jerk. Plus, unlike many of my other beloved killers, Muksan's relationship with his partner Cheongyeon is hardly a relationship at all. There's a fun semi-mind control setup, with Cheongyeon putting a collar on Muksan that causes him to fall in line and steadily fall for him. But that does little to nothing to actually bring these two closer together. Cheongyeon still seems to see Muksan as a pet or oddity, and Muksan doesn't feel like he cares for Cheongyeon beyond him being an easy mark and occasional lay. It's super unfortunate. But there is one ray of light in the story. Unfortunately, it's a brief light, but I'll take what I can get. Cheongyeon and Muksan end up unofficially adopting an orphan child. This is probably the most emotional growth we see from Muksan, and this is the closest we get to a romantic and almost familial relationship between Cheongyeon and Muksan. Sadly, just when we're getting all of this growth, the story ends. I think what this needed was more time. There needs to be more time to explore Cheongyeon and how his views about those on Earth evolve. More time is needed to see Muksan grow and change as a person and gain insight into his feelings for Cheongyeon. And, of course, I'd have loved to see more family time with their adopted son, but we don't get any of that. Instead, we get some smut, violence, and a disjointed narrative. It's disappointing.